So the whole thing with WWE selling Vince selling WWE is probably to get someone else to look after it, while he's fully retired, whatever he gets to that point where he actually retires. When technically he did call his announcement a couple months back and say, "Yo, I'm done with WWE. I don't want none part of it because of his allegations that brought up against him." So had to quit, had to drop down from every single position, and then came back and then he basically said, if I don't get my way, coming back to the company, I'm gonna do everything in my power for this shit to fucking sink. And they forced him back in, even though they wanted to. As soon as he came in, some people said, "Fuck it, he coming back now. I don't want nothing to do with him. If he's here, I'm gone," which they did. But the whole thing with him selling WWE is crazy. Which I thought he was going to sell it to basically his daughter and his, son-in-law, but that didn't happen. Which obviously they're basically perfectly okay with them running it because they just took nothing but like literally straight W's. So I don't know what's the problem with selling to your son-in-law and your daughter, but okay. So there is a couple people in mind that they're gonna sell to, and I'm gonna break this down here of who like which companies he had lined up to sell WWE to. So he had WME Endeavor, he had Comcast, NBC Universal, who was also owned by Comcast, and Disney. So and also Saudi. So those are the ones that that the company had lined up for. And I'm gonna break down each one why I feel like it's either a good thing or a bad thing. First thing, Saudi Arabia. Don't get me wrong, culture fire, people fire. Every time they host something in Saudi Arabia, it's fire. Come on, except for that one time that we don't talk about. You feel me? But most of the shows that WWE hosts in Saudi Arabia, like in Crown Jewel, most of them are fire. I'm not gonna hold you. Most of them are fire. The problem is with Saudi Arabia is it's the women division. That's gonna be the problem. That's basically the main problem. That and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. That's gonna be the main problem. Because one, you know how strong Sami is, and you already know how strong the bloodline is. And for him not showing up, that's gonna that's gonna hurt a lot because everybody's gonna be saying Sammy, 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 and he ain't gonna be there because why? He can't go into the country because of reasons like probably like I think it was religious reasons. I think I'm not sure. People can light me on that, but I think it's religious reasons why he can't come into the country. Kevin Owens, I heard it's something else. I'm not sure what it exactly was, but I heard it was something else. And then for the women, obviously because of the way they dress, because in in Saudi Arabia, for their laws, is can't wear anything too revealing, or it's a big trouble, big no. And obviously, it's obviously there's nothing wrong with what they're wearing in Saudi. Don't get me wrong. Some of the stuff they have in Saudi for the women is fire, in my opinion. I feel like the choices designs is fire for me, but it's Saudi Arabia, so you got to abide by their rules. You feel me? But like I don't know. In Saudi Arabia, I don't think no like. I think a lot of people will hate it, but I think some people won't really hate it because the fan base is huge in Saudi Arabia. Don't get me wrong. Everybody, in Saudi Arabia is a huge fan of every single wrestler on that list. Don't get me wrong. And we already know how the fan base is and the love and everything. Like I love that about Saudi Arabia, but like honestly, and people saying, "Oh, Saudi Arabia being in like WrestleMania being Saudi Arabia and all that stuff." I don't think that will happen. Let's be completely honest. I don't think WrestleMania can actually happen in Saudi Arabia unless WWE wants to push it to Saudi Arabia. That's on them. But in my opinion, like I don't think Saudi is the right move, honestly, at all. But from what I did hear, that WWE didn't really sell it to Saudi Arabia yet, so there's still a chance that other people can pick it up, like Comcast and Disney and NBC and whatnot. They said that WWE has not sold to Saudi Arabia investment fund as claimed by multiple sources last night. Deal could take months to complete if it goes through. Additionally, we have also heard that while there are some talents who consider leaving WWE if the company was sold to Saudi Arabia Investment Fund, there are also wrestlers within the company who are hoping for a substantial pay rise if the deal does go through. So, I mean, I'm not I'm not mad if some people want to leave WWE because of the rights in Saudi Arabia, which is understandable because Saudi Arabia rules is very strict and there's a lot of stuff you gotta stand by, which you know which is I okay I like if it does sell to Saudi Arabia, yes, it's gonna have to change a lot to abide by Saudi Arabia's rules and everything, but I understand because the women division in Saudi Arabia is not really that high like it is in America or other countries. Um, and also I feel like if we're if we're being honest here, if you sell it to Disney, yes, technically everybody mostly has Disney Plus, but um, how it's changing like the TV 14 and everything, obviously it's Disney, and they have Disney is literally a whole company for children and kids and toddlers and probably middle aged kids. So I don't know if they're gonna be like back to how they usually were, where it's like you do Freak, Shut Up, that type of stuff. If it does sell to Disney, but at the same time, I don't want Disney to interfere with stuff like that because it's like, yes, I wanted to go back to that attitude aggression era, but TV 14 is the best we can do right now. And I don't want Disney messing any of that up because every time Disney gets a hold of something, we already know how that goes. Like for example, Star Wars, literally plummeted to the ground once Disney bought them. Marvel, right when Stan Lee died, Disney messed that up as well too. So, I, in my opinion, in a move, Disney can buy WWE, but this because they have a whole bunch of money to do it anyway. Like, come on, it's Disney. Let's be freaking serious here. It's Disney. They can do whatever the hell they want. But at the same time, don't mess with what Triple H has already done, man. Don't do anything like that because if you do mess that up, 9 times out of 10, everybody that's with WWE is not like there's not going to be that much people once Disney even buys them, if they could ever considers buying them slash changing up everything that Triple H has built. Another reason, NBC. Yes, NBC. When it comes to NBC, they don't really trouble any other thing. Yes, they buy out other companies like Fox and stuff like that, but they're not gonna trouble any what Fox does and what any other company does. They're not really gonna do that. They're just gonna okay, we're gonna buy you, but you're gonna still do what the hell you do. So we're not really gonna do it. But at the same time, NBC owns Peacock, and not that much people own Peacock or could even afford Peacock because it's monthly. It's not a yearly thing. I mean, I would say it's technically is a yearly thing, but the yearly thing is very expensive. So I understand why people can't really afford Peacock, let alone monthly. Like have Peacock monthly because that's also very expensive too, which that's very understandable. Um, Even though yes, I wish sometimes Peacock is free, for people that can afford it, which will be a good thing. But you can't really beggars can't really be choosers. You feel me? So, and then the only thing left is Comcast. And I feel like out of all the options that I said, I feel like Comcast is probably the best bet. Because I don't think if Comcast bought them, I wouldn't be really too mad because Comcast can just buy them and be like, bro, you can still do what the hell you want to do with WWE. You can still go with the creative stuff, still actually you could still actually just do the best storylines that you've been doing, still move how you want creatively, Triple H, and not get bothered by, you know, Saudi doing this or Disney changing that or NBC can't really post this because of, reasons. So in my offense, no, not in my offense, but in my thing, I feel like the best bet for me, for WWE, for the right direction is probably Comcast. Yes, you can. Yes, maybe second best would be NBC, but like I said, no one, like I won't say no one, but not everybody has Peacock like that, so that's going to be very hard. So I don't feel like Saudi Arabia is the best bet. I hope it's not official yet, because if it is, then that's a lot of people's gonna leave and either go to AEW or Ring of Honor or GCW, or the list can go so on and so forth. So I mean, I hope Vince didn't sell to Saudi Arabia yet, and if he didn't, good job, because you would have very, very unhappy people, very unhappy, really, very unhappy. You have very unhappy audience. You have very unhappy kids and very unhappy like brothers, sisters, and every fan that you can think of around the world will stop watching WWE at that point. I think only people are interested in Saudi Arabia when it's like crown jewel and everything. But besides that, no one really wants the women division to go to a plummet after Saudi Arabia buys out WWE, if that ever happens, which I hope it doesn't, because I'll be pissed as fuck if that did. If that did happen, I would definitely go to AEW the next day if I heard that. Be like, well, gotta delete everything that own about WWE, Instagram, all that type of stuff, and just goodbye WWE forever. But I'm glad, from what I've heard, they didn't sell to them yet. So good job on Vince McMahon for that part, because I would, like I said, like me, like everybody else, we would have stopped watching WWE in a matter of seconds. Yes, you would have went from all the people that watched WWE back in the 2000s, 2010s, and then all that all that audience, people that subscribe to the YouTube channel, people that tune in on Twitter and Instagram will go a plummeting, and I mean a plummeting to the bottom, because that would uh that would hurt a lot, like a lot, like sales, merch, belts wouldn't probably even sell that often. So like I said, I hope it doesn't come to the conclusion that Vince sells to Saudi, because like I said, your sales, bro. Think about sales. Think about people. Think about the audience. Think about the age group that watches WWE. Think about people like that, because once that happened, and once you sell to the wrong people, in our opinion, uh, hello AEW and New Japan Wrestling and GCW and Ring of Honor, because that's the exact companies I'm going to be watching from now on if this happens.